Good morning, students. Okay, in today's class, we'll be discussing input output in C++. That is nothing but how we can read input into your program and how we can give output from your program. So, as you are quite familiar with programming, you know that we are writing programs and every program will take some kind of input from the outside world, and after processing that input it will give some output to the external world. So basically how we are reading this input, how we are writing the output, we are using different devices for that one. So what are all the things get involved whenever we are performing this input output operations? So you know that in order to read the input into your program, we are using keyboard. Okay, you consider this as your keyboard. We are using keyboard. Okay, we are reading input, so I am marking the arrow in this direction because the data, whenever you are giving input to your program, the data will flow in this direction. Okay, so here where we are having the program means inside your main memory. Main memory is nothing but your RAM. All these things we discussed in your first semester. Programs, while processing, whether they are compiled, whether they are executed, where this will be done? Inside your main memory this will be done. Programs, when they are stored, they will be stored on your hard disk. So for processing, we have to bring the program from the hard drive to the random access memory, RAM. So that RAM is nothing but your main memory. So here I am writing main memory. So from the keyboard, the data will flow towards the main memory, where your programs are residing. Where your programs are residing. This is one way of reading the data. Or we can even read the data from the files. Files concept we discussed in your 5th unit. Okay, in your first semester inside PPS, in your 5th unit, we discussed the concept of files. Okay, from the files also we can read the data into your program. So that is file like this I am representing graphically. So these are your files. So how many possible input devices, input terminals we have to your program means we have two possible terminals. So these are ends from where the data will be generated. These are endpoints from where the data will be generated. That is the reason why we are calling these things as terminals. A file terminal or a keyboard terminal. Okay, so this is input. Whatever we discussed over here, everything is input. We can either read from a file into your program or we can read the data from the keyboard into your program. Got it? The next thing is giving the output from the program, giving the output from the main memory. So to where we can give the output? To your standard console. The first is standard console. Standard console is nothing but your system. Your monitor screen where we are displaying the output, isn't it? So that is standard console. Quickly see the arrow mark because the data will flow from the main memory to your console. Console is nothing but the black screen which we are getting as an output. Whenever you compile and execute your program, you will get a black screen, and on that black screen only your output will get displayed. So that black screen only we are calling it as a console. Console means inside your monitor system, that black window we call it as a console. So one output form where we can give the output means to the console we can give the output. And the second, to where we can forward, to where we can send the output, second option is we can even send it to the file. Okay, we can even send it to the files. So we can read from the keyboard and files, and we can write to the console again to the files. So this is input, this is output. Again, we call them as terminals only. We call them as terminals, and this operation we are performing output operation. Reading the input either from files, from keyboard. These are data generators from where the data will be generated. These are source to the data. That is the reason why we are calling them as terminals. Okay, and input terminals, your files and keyboard. In that same fashion, in that same way, whenever you are performing the output, we are depending, either we are sending the output to the console or we are sending the output to the file. So these are the end points for your output. They receive the output, file will store that output, and console will display that output. They are the output endpoints. That is the reason why again we are calling these output endpoints also as terminals. Okay, what are the input terminals? Input terminals, it can be a file or it can be keyboard. Okay, we call this keyboard as standard input as well. Standard input. Standard input, because this is the standard way of giving the input to your program. In that same way, whenever you are performing the output, your console is the standard output. Console is the standard output. Yeah, I suggest all the students to better note down how you do in your regular class, to better note down whatever points I am writing on the board, whatever concepts I am discussing over here. You better make a note of it in your you better put a notebook for that one and note down all these things in that notebook, because ultimately they are going to help you a lot in your coming future. Don't think that we are wasting our time over here and we are doing some useless things. Whatever things we are doing, all they are very, very important, I am telling you. As you people are belonging to CSC department, CSC means programming, and how that programming will be done, if you don't know, means joining into CSC, it is waste of time. So simply whatever concepts we are discussing, whatever points over here we are discussing, you better note down in a notebook. Okay. So this is something related to your input and output. So whenever we are performing the input, the data will flow in this direction from the terminals to your main memory. Okay, the data, what it is doing, it is flowing towards the main memory. So whenever something flows, in English we call it as a stream, isn't it? We call it as a stream. If water is flowing, we call that water a stream of water, isn't it? We call that water as stream of water. In that same way, when the data is flowing from input devices to your main memory, we call the data as input stream, because it is flowing, the data is flowing from the input devices to your main memory. We call that stream as input stream. In that same fashion, in that same way, whenever we are giving the output, the data will flow from the main memory to the terminals, to the output terminals. Those are nothing but your console and files. So we call this flow as output streams. Output streams. You have to understand these things. These terminology, it is very, very, very important. Reading input and giving output in your programming, how we are doing, definitely they will ask one question. There is a scope of asking one LAQ or SAQ from this one. So how the data will flow, what is input stream, what are input terminals, all these things you have to know. In that same way, how the data will flow inside output stream. Okay, from where to where data will flow in output stream, and what are output terminals, that also you have to understand. Clear? Yeah, quickly we'll go to the slides. So here, all these things I have already explained. What is input stream, I have explained. What is output stream, I have explained. And input and output, how we are performing means basically with the help of these input-output terminals. With the help of these input-output terminals. In your C programming, for input purpose, we are using scanf function, isn't it? For input purpose, what function we are using? Scanf function we are using, which will read the data from these standard input device and gives to your program. In that same way, in order to output the data, we are using printf function, which will read the data from your program and displays on the standard console output, standard output. That is nothing but your console. This we already know. In that same way, in order to perform the input and output, as I said, C++ is an object-oriented programming. We are going to use two objects, two basic objects or two standard objects we can say. Those two standard objects are nothing but Cin and Cout. Along with that, we use another object like CError. To display the error message, we use CError. Quickly we'll see that one. Yeah, here everything we have discussed. Input stream we have discussed, output stream we have discussed. Yeah, what is a stream? I have given the definition over here. It is nothing but flow of bytes, sequence of bytes or flow of bytes. We call it as a stream. Bytes are nothing but your data only. Okay. Yeah. See over here. Like in order to make your printf and scanf functions functional, we have to include stdio.h header file into your program. That you are quite familiar, isn't it? stdio.h, it is a header file, it is a library file, and why we are including that file into our program means to make those two scanf, printf functions functional. Isn't it? Scanf, printf, those two are predefined functions. They are available inside that stdio.h header file. That is the reason why we are including that header file to make those two functions functional. In that same way, here, in order to make all console related objects functional, we have to include iostream.h. What we have to do? We have to include iostream. It is a standard header file available inside the C++ library. That file you have to include inside your program to make that Cin and Cout functional. I told you that in order to perform the output operation, we use Cout. Cout. It is an object. Basically, what is, yesterday I have given the definition, but in programming point of view, maybe you are completely unaware of what is an object. Very soon you will understand what is an object, how we can create that object and how we can use that object in our programming. So Cout, it is a predefined object. C is small over here. Cout, it is a predefined object available inside iostream header file. iostream header file, and this Cout, it is used to give the output, to perform the output, and it is exactly similar to your printf function. Printf function, as we are using printf function to print the display on the to print the output on the display. In that same way, we are using Cout object to print the output on the standard console. And next is to perform the input, we use Cin. Okay, Cin. This is for input purpose, and it is similar to your scanf. Scanf in your C++. The next thing is CError. We also have CError object, and it is also used for displaying error messages. Whenever you want to display error message, we use this CError, and there is no resemblance. There is no perfect what we call a comparison in your C++. In your C programming, we don't have any alternate method to print the error message on your standard console. So Cout exactly similar to printf, Cin exactly similar to scanf, CError there is no alternate in your C programming. Okay, rest of the thing, yeah, this fstream, in order to take the input from your file and in order to give the output to your file, we use this fstream.h. It is again, there is no similar option in your C programming. So whenever we are reading input, yeah, this IO stream, if you are reading the input from keyboard, and if you are reading, if you are printing the output on the console, we use this IO stream, iostream.h. But whenever we use files inside our C++ program, we have to go for that fstream.h. What is that fstream? Fstream, it is associated with files. And this files concept in C++, we are not going to discuss in this semester because it is not there in your curriculum, it is not there in your syllabus. If you have enthusiasm to learn new things, you can go to the internet and you can search about it and you can do the practice from there. Okay, so fstream, why we are using? In order to read the input from the file and in order to write the output to a file. Okay. Okay, rest of the things we will discuss in our next class. Thank you.